Okay, this is the very first test of trying to work and chat simultaneously because I gotta get shit done, and some of you has been asking to see the process, and because it is something that I am preaching about in my sermonizing, we're gonna see if we can start walking the walk. So here we go. And I was just talking to my manses and joking about how I got too much to say. I got too many opinions, and people gotta get shit done, okay? So how can I work on my elocution, work on pardon me, I got real high, and I got ADHD, and I am a self-employed I am a graciously patronized artiste, okay? And so my work patterns are my own, but one needs to work. And in my quest to dedicate myself to honoring my Nana, which, does Nana say hello? Hi, Nana. And not procrastinating, and just going with the flow of my own ADHD and inability to resist temptation today, and doing recreational adult drugs. When the urge takes me, because I can, I just do it. So sometimes in the middle of something, I get up and I go get a drink of water, and the next thing you know, I'm like baking a cake, right? Meanwhile, so I got the urge, and here I am. Here I is. So in the spirit of this winding road of out Linda Hamilton, all y'all, here we are recording a video, and I was thinking about making the chatelaine great again. All right, now for those of you that don't know what a chatelaine is a French word for it's derived from chatelain, which the chatelain was the manager of the estate, essentially. Manager of the keys. The guy that when the manor lord was off to war, getting up to business, doing diplomacy, whatever, he wasn't in the house. The chatelain, typically a man, would hold the keys to the treasury, the buttery, all the important stockpile closets, right? And that was the chatelain. And then later on, when that job predominantly became women's, it turned into the chatelaine, and it referred to a belt clip EDC hook that had all these fun accoutrements on it. A lot of times tiny scissors. These days you might put a pocket Leatherman on it. It had a writing utensil, pencil, thimble, sewing case, a tiny box for matches, various small jangly bits that you would use you would need at hand to do small things in the course of your daily life. And I was thinking about how I use these all the time, and I think the chatelaine is just a brilliant little ingenious way to carry around an EDC, right? We're real big about EDCs in this house, so I think a lot about what is my EDC, and at the far absolute extreme end of that, which you should always be thinking about. What is it? It's a term going around now. First principles, right? Like when you extrapolate an idea, a concept, a theory to its most extreme potential in any direction. That's the first principle, right? So I'm always thinking about what would my chatelaine be, right? Like what's in the purse, but thinking about if the world was going to end tomorrow and you still wanted to like live the fantasy. All right. That's what we are constantly thinking about. And yeah, make the chatelaine great again. And y'all wanted to know what creation is like, so here we are. It is time consuming, it is handwork, and to get really good at it, the only way to do that is repetition, doing it again and again and again and again. And I think that, for some people it works really well to think about doing things for the exchange, right? Like some people are really good at having that kind of mindset. I think that that's typically how we have come to work in the world, right? And I'm just fully riffing right now, by the way, just real high riffing. I think that there are people who, like myself, I do what I do because I almost have a physical compulsion to do it, right? Like it makes me happy. It is the culmination of everything that I am interested in life. It is how I see myself shaping the world, right? And I would do this, and I clearly do, right? Like there's no one here with me right now. There's no one that I can say at this exact moment. I can count the number of people that may or may not be wearing some of my work out in the world on one hand right now, okay? Which, just going through that list in my head right now, tickled, just, y'all, chuffed, tickled, blessed and highly favored. Let me tell you, the fact that I can say that at all. Speaking of, man, your girl really needs to respond to her emails. And speaking of that, do not be alone in having email fear, okay? I think that that is a way that subtly we have drastically changed the way that we interact with each other on a communication basis. Because everyone has email box fear, all right, anxiety. It's natural, but yeah, I gotta deal with mine. So, but anyways, what was I saying? Chatelaines, two types of people in the world. Okay, so like me, as I was saying, there are those of us who are fortunate enough to be able to just do what we do and create, because the reality of what I do is that I have been able to commit the time and the labor, Because that's really what it's about, is that it's the labor, it's the amount of time that you have to dedicate yourself to repeating one action again and again and again, right? That's why once you become an elite athlete, it becomes a lot easier to kind of massage those microseconds that you need in there, right? Because you can dedicate your entire being to fulfilling that one thing, right? Like if you want to be an Olympic athlete, you spend your entire life essentially revolving around that one thing. And you can't do that without having someone to help support you, right? Like you're either going to be like I was right out of college and up until COVID, someone who I worked a regular job, right? Like you work a day job, and then in the time that you have, you either do the things that you want to be really good at and that you enjoy, like this, or you dick around and you know, you get up to nonsense, right? So you decide which way your time is spent, and you work when you can, but then, you know, maybe something happens, but even then, you know, you have people that are helping you, you know, do this, right? Like, that's the other thing, is that it costs money. Like, you have to find a way to get the materials, right? You can't make something from nothing. And now I have to have a literal, like, community, family, like, nucleus that lets me do this. Like, and that's just the way it works, but you have to make choices. And because I have the incredible opportunity to do this at my own leisure, it is the most honorable and most long-term beneficial thing I can do, is to just do it all the time. Like, I'm always working. Always. Whether it's my leisure time, whether it's now, whatever I'm doing, everything is in service of this. It's in service of, you know, gathering inputs and collecting data, collecting information, and reviewing it, analyzing it, putting it into experience and practical knowledge, right? And in being able to apply that in an engineering way, right? So, like, for example, yesterday I spent an inordinate amount of time researching ballistic vest construction and manufacturing techniques. Why? Because I'm really interested in personal body armor. All right. And how do you make it aesthetic? How do you make it a beautiful component of what you just wear every day, right? Like, if you have to be wearing parts, portions, or all of it at any given point, because that's just the environment that you inhabit, right? Then it needs to be just as decorative as it is functional. So, and then in order to do it well, you have to research it, because you must know before you can fuck with it, right? But anyways, I'm gonna do some boring stuff, and I gotta pee. So maybe we'll pick back up here if I feel like it.